Hey everybody, it's me, Valarie R. Brooks with Valarie R. Brooks Real Estate and Business Academy. I got to tell you something that happened to me yesterday, and it just kind of made me think, Valarie, there's some things you might need to change about yourself. Let's see. I woke up, got in my car, and my car tire had -6 on it. So everybody was telling me, okay, Valarie, in the winter, your tires pressure goes in and out, in and out. Well, it kept going in and out that yesterday. So I took it over to Firestone and there was this big bolt in it, huge, big bolt. And the guy said, Valarie, I don't think you should take it anywhere. Long story short, uh, my car, the people that make my car, um, they called in a tow for me, as well as they sent um, someone to take me home. One of the services that they offer, great service, absolutely great service, and they brought me a rental today. Brought it to me. I think that's just great. Long story short, the tow truck driver that came over, he was very knowledgeable. He knew what he was doing. He was very professional. And he, I was following him everywhere he went. I was like, "Are you? Don't tear up my car, please. Don't do anything to my car. Are you gonna? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna put it on that thing?" And he was like, "Okay, I'll show you." He didn't say anything. I thought I was getting on his nerves. Okay, and I was like following him because I've heard so many tow truck stories, and my car is only a year and a half old, and I just started back driving, and I was following him. I was nervous, and I can feel myself starting to get really, really anxious. Remember, I told you guys about the anxiety disorder that I am working on, and that is getting really good. Um, but he looked at me and he said, "Ma'am, I think you need to relax." And I said, "What do you mean relax? I am I am relaxed." And he's like, "No, I mean, you need to just relax." He said, "I can tell something's going on. I'm gonna take care of this. I'm gonna take care of your car. I'm gonna take care of this towing. I'm gonna get your car to where it's supposed to go safely. I will text you when I get there. I will let you know." And he said, "I can tell you're a businesswoman and you're used to taking care of others." He said, "But I need you to relax and let me take care of this." He put me in my place, guys. And I love that because that is what I often tell my clients. I tell my coaching clients that want to lead the way. I mean, I allow them to be leaders, but there are some times that you have to tell people to stop micromanaging, as well as the clients, the real estate clients that we work with. We have to tell them sometimes, stop micromanaging. We got this. And I thought about the tow truck driver's name. I can't remember. I think it's Trey. And I kept just thinking to myself, he is so right. He is so right. How can I teach no micromanaging? And I'm micromanaging someone that's a professional, although I didn't know it until I saw it. And he did a great job with my car. So I just wanted to share that moment. Also, another thing that one reason we're doing what we're doing today is because I am trying to laugh more. I juggle so many balls. I have a coaching company. I have a real estate company. I have a life. I have grandchildren. I have a lot of things to manage. And sometimes you get caught up in the management of things, and sometimes you just forget to smile. And I want to thank him for making me smile. It was really, really great, and I've been smiling all day because he called me out. So, all right, y'all. Remember, I've always said that real estate is not just about bricks and contracts and commission checks. It's a living, breathing thing. Remember, it's like a wild animal. And sometimes it purrs, sometimes it growls, and sometimes it's just straight up try to bite you. Real estate is live, it's real. So, as it's moving and breathing, if you're not ready for it, it'll leave you in the dust. It'll leave you in the dust. It ain't waiting on you. It is not waiting on you. It has moves. One day, everything's flowing. Deals are closing. Clients are happy. The next day, interest rates are down. Your buyers ghost you, and you go on a listing appointment, and the sellers has 1970 wallpaper on the wall, and they're telling you they know that's an added bonus. So it's unpredictable. It's exhausting. But if you know how to navigate, if you have the right strategies, the right systems, and the right mindset, it changes everything. And that's why I created Build Her for real estate. It's for women, and if some guys want to join, you can too, but it's for women in real estate who's ready to stop spinning their wheels and start growing and scaling and securing their business. In fact, next week, I'm hosting a webinar, and we'll tell you more about that. Not next week, not hosting it. Next week, we'll tell you the date that the webinar is going to be. But today, if you'd like to join our membership, there's a link in the chat, and all you have to do is link and grow. Link and grow. Because let's be real. Let's be real. Real estate is a guessing game. Okay? It's not a guessing game. Excuse me 1 minute. Real estate, let me rephrase that. To some, it may be a guessing game, but it's really not a guessing game. It's not. You don't have to guess. It's a strategy. And if you don't know, and if you're tired of feeling like you're just trying to figure it out, that's what we do. We build. We teach you how to build. Okay. Now, speaking of unpredictable real estate moments, I want to get into some of the funniest things that has happened to me, or the most bizarre or the shocking things that has happened to me. Now, for each funny or bizarre that I share with you, I want you to see if there's a nucleus in the stories. And if you can see the nucleus, put it in the chat. I want to see if you're following and if you can keep up, okay? Because I learned a lesson from each of these funny to creepy to unbelievable stories. So the first one, I have my list here. One of them is, what is the most funniest that you've ever had? Or you know what? I think I'm gonna share this one first. Can you share a story where you found humor in a different situation, in a different transaction? So let me tell you this. This is funny. I call it the naked truth. I had a buyer. We were looking at homes, and she was a female buyer. And we went inside the house, and I was trying to turn on all the lights uh, to the house, and I was kind of lagging behind her, just turning on lights. And when we got to a bedroom, she opened the door, and the seller, a man, was laying on the bed, completely naked. And he was napping like a Greek statue. He was sleeping. I think I even heard him snore, okay? And I mean, admit it wasn't a horrible sight, okay? It wasn't a horrible sight, but we're in a professional setting, okay? So the buyer slowly closed the door because she didn't want to wake him up. And she looked at me and said, "Does he come with the house?" And I told him, you know what, I think that's off limit. But we heard some stirring inside the room, and he obviously heard us, and we woke him up. And as we were walking down to another bedroom, we didn't let it stop us. He came outside of the door, and he said, "I heard you. I heard you." He said, "Which one of you said that?" And I looked at her and I pointed to her, and she looked really, really shocked. Okay. But this is what's going to get you. Okay. We sold this house. I sold this house to another buyer. But guess what I ended up doing? I ended up selling the buyer and the seller a new house. Because let me tell you what happened. As we were leaving, they started having a conversation. To make a long story short, when he sold his house, he moved in with her, and they waited a year to buy a house together. Isn't that bizarre? I love it. I don't know what you would call that, but that's a great ending. That's a happy ending. And they recently called me maybe about 2 years ago and said that they were going to build. They want to build. They're trying to start a family. And that's pretty good, huh? I love it. I ended up with what? Two sales out of that and getting ready to get another one. So you have to think about how this real estate goes. Now that was a good thing. That was a good thing. So, yep, that happened. True story. And the next question is, have you ever had a deal to fall through because of something completely out of your control? Oh my God, absolutely. I'm going to tell y'all this one. It's kind of hard to believe. I had a beautiful, stunning newlywed couple. The man was very, very good looking. The woman was drop dead gorgeous. You would think she was a model. So you would think he was as well. And they had, they were Italian, and they still spoke the Italian language. And I just love the Italian language. So I think that added to the beauty for me. And they were highly qualified to purchase. And we looked in a house, and we found a house, and we weren't quite satisfied with it. So from that, we left and we came back. And from that point on, her brother came along with us to give his opinion on every house that we saw. So we saw 5 houses, and we finally chose a house. Okay. And it was a beautiful house. We went through the motions of the lender giving us a clear to close. We chose the attorney. We went through the inspection. Everything was a go. It was absolutely one of the, I thought, smoothest transaction I was going to have. Day of closing, I was there first, and the couple and the brother walked in, and the wife had been crying. And I was looking at the wife, and I didn't know whether or not to ask, was she okay? So I'm trying to manage my reactions to her crying. And I know the attorney very well. So I went to the back because he hadn't come out yet. And I told him, I said, we have a client that's crying. I want to ask her, is everything okay? He said, go ahead and ask her. I said, no, I'm going to wait till we get in here and then we can talk about it. So the attorney went into the office, and so did I. And the buyers came in along with the brother. The wife started crying uncontrollably, uncontrollably. So I finally had to say, what's going on? Are you okay? Because it's hard to sign through a river of tears. And her brother jumped up and said, she just found out that her husband and I are lovers. I was with them on their honeymoon. She just found that out. I told him he should have told her, and she just found out. Everybody was sitting at the table like, what? Needless to say, we did not close. Needless to say, we did not close. I didn't know what to do, so I did nothing. So when the closing fell apart, they left. The attorney and I think we were sat there for about 5 minutes because we were still in shock. The wife walked back in, and she asked me, could I take her to her hotel? I said, of course. I'm going to shorten this story, but you all see what happened here. But they were coming here because of her job, not the husband's. The husband and the brother went back to Italy. She stayed here and bought a house in 6 months. Did y'all hear that story? Did you hear that story? So real estate, I'm telling you, it's live. It breathes. It has all different kinds of moments. It's real. This is real estate. Okay? Yes, it happened. It happened. Now, let's see. What is the weirdest thing you've ever found inside of a house or a property while showing it to a client? You're not going to believe this. We made an appointment to see a house. It was in the country. It was in the country. And it was a man. I had a male client. And he wanted to live in the country. He wanted uh, acreage. The house was absolutely beautiful. In the description on the MLS sheet, it said our animals will be caged. We thought nothing of it. I did privately because I'm allergic to just about every animal on this planet. So I was prepared though. I put on my mask. I unlocked the door. Now he was a gentleman, and a lot of men tend to do this. Valarie let me enter first. I let him enter first. It was okay. And by the time he entered, I heard a noise. And I saw the look on his face, and it was shocked. He was shocked. And there was a pig, a big, fat pig in their house. A pig. Again, I'm standing there looking at my client like, you want to keep going or what? The pig was in this big, huge cage, but he was there. A pig. And I don't even eat pork. I thought it was rather disgusting. The client said, let's just look at the house. I just knew this man was not going to buy the house. And he did. Oh, yes, Margaret, that is the truth. That is the truth. I know it's surprising, but it is so very funny. What was the most uncomfortable moment in your real estate years? Okay, I'll let you know. I was once a flight attendant, and flight attendants and pilots, when we travel, we become like a family. And so when I left the airlines, I kept in contact with just about every flight attendant I made contact with, and every pilot I made contact with, and we keep a nice friendship going. So I got a call one day from one of my flight attendant buddies, and she said, "Hey, Valarie, it's such and such, and I'm gonna start commuting out of Charlotte, North Carolina." I said, "That's awesome. And maybe we'll get a chance to chat and have dinner, have drinks." And she said, "Yes, yes, yes." And my fiance, you remember him? And I said, "Yeah, I remember him. I do." She said, "Well, he wants us to live on the north side because he wants to be away from the airport." Okay. We moved along, and we bought the house. It was a nice, pretty, beautiful townhouse in Morrisville. Beautiful. Great sale. He came to the closing, and it was awesome. So about 6 months later, I get a call. "Hey, Valarie, it's da 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 da. How are you doing?" "I'm doing great." And she said, "I am ready to buy. I've been here a long time, and I'm ready to buy. And my fiance wants me to buy on the south side of town. He wants us to be close to the airport." And she said, "I don't know if you knew I was engaged." And I said, "No, I didn't. I didn't." And she said, "Well, his name is da da da." Are you following me? Are you following me? Where am I going with this? Can somebody put in chat where I'm going with this? 2 flight attendants, one on the north side, one on the south side. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to see if you're right, Tony. I'm going to see if you're right. I'm letting you know if you're right. So I said, okay, we'll find you somewhere. We found a beautiful home on the south side that was, and really close to the airport. It was good. Same man came to the closing. The same guy. So as we were walking out of the closet, I want you guys to pay attention because I want you guys to see the nucleus in all of these situations. The nucleus in all of these situations. After closing, I walked out with I'm looking at this as clear as day, as clear as day. We walked out of the closing and he wanted his fiance to walk ahead of us. And he said, go ahead, baby, go to the car. And he stood back and he turned around and he looked at me and said, I'm glad you didn't say anything. Guys, I looked at him and I said, about what? About what? You get me? Are you following that? I told him to have a great day. So let me tell you how I handled that situation with my client appreciation party. I was thoughtful enough because I didn't want anybody uncomfortable at my party. I made one call. I sent out invitations to all of my clients. I love all my clients. We always have a great time at my client appreciation party. I called them up and I said, see, this is real. I want you guys to see the realness in real estate. Okay. So I called him up and I said, I am just calling you to let you know that I invite every client that I have to my client appreciation party. I'd love to see you there. And that's all I'm calling to let you know. What am I telling him? I want you to handle that situation and please don't bring drama to my party. See, this is real. This is the real world of real estate. And it's it has a beat. It keeps moving. It takes you off your feet. Like I said, it has moods. One day it's happy. One day you'll get everything you want. The next day you will not. But what is the key? What is the key? It's preparation and knowing which way you're going. Is that right? Is that right? So, what is the funniest? What is the most bizarre situation you've ever faced? This was really bizarre. I'm showing a buyer at this time. At this time, I was working with a lot of buyers, which ended up with me working with a lot of sellers because buyers turn into sellers. You have real estate agents that come in and think they only want to work with sellers. Don't, it's okay to start with buyers because they turn into sellers if you're a good agent. I had a great buyer. We walked into a beautiful house. The showing instructions said that the mother would be there and letting us know. So we walked in, and the mom, the woman, was sitting on the sofa or couch in the, depending on where you're from. I'm from the South, so it's sofa. And she was sitting there, very calm. And she said, "You guys just pretend I'm not here, and never mind the young boy in the hallway. Just overlook him." And we looked, and we didn't see a young boy in the hallway. We would look to the left, we looked to the right. We did not see a young boy. So we thought maybe he had walked into the bedroom. And so she said, never mind, I'll tell him to come here and get him to sit with me. We said, okay, but you don't have to do that. And she said, come here, son, come here, son. And um, she reached out and she did like this as if she was picking up a son. She did like this. And she said, you guys can look now. You follow me? You follow me. Sean Phillips, yep, I did. I knew him. but she picked it up in her mind. My client and I didn't know what to do. I said, let's finish looking at the house. And when we left, we told her bye. And she said, say bye, and called this little boy's name. And we said bye. That's another occasion where she was with me in my car. We got in the car and we just sat there. That was bizarre. It was sort of moving our hearts because it told some type of story. What story, I never found out because my buyer did not buy that house, but we knew that there was a story behind that. You see the things we run into with real estate? I always talk about different personalities, different situations. And some of these things that I'm telling you guys are different situations. These are not what you would expect. You cannot think that they won't occur. You just never know what's going to happen in your real estate day. You start off thinking it's going to go one way, one day, and it's just totally different than what you've planned. Okay, let's see. I have questions going both ways. What is the most shocking situation that you've walked into? I don't know if I answered that or not already, but I have another one. Had a police officer, he was dressed in his blues. I just love police officers because they really take care of us. I love them. I love police officers that serve. I love their uniforms. I'm just proud. Whenever I work with a police officer, I am very proud. And he was a real police officer because every house that I opened, he would say, let me walk in first. And we said, okay. So walked into this very, very nice home, and we walked on, it was a ranch with a basement. And we walked through the first floor. It was beautiful. And then we went to the basement. And we walked out in the basement. The basement was fully finished. It had ceramic everywhere. And so the police officer, you could tell he worked out every day. He was an strong, protective man. And during there, we were standing in the kitchen in the basement, and two lizards ran across the kitchen floor. This big protective police officer screamed like, ah! He screamed like a girl. And he almost pushed me and his wife to get away from those lizards. He almost pushed us out of the way. I tease him to this day. I thought that was so funny. So that's one of the most, I think you said funniest or shocking, because I was so shocked that this big man ran away from a lizard. I was running too. But we were just shocked, and I teased him. I said, and you want to walk in first? I don't get that. Oh, okay. So I just wanted to share some funnies with you. I do have another one that no one asked me about, but this was, I don't know if this was just funny or just strange, but I was brand spanking new in the business. And I was on what we call. At the time, we used to answer the phones, agents, and we would get a chance to obtain clients that way. And an older couple walked into the office, and it was my turn up, and we talked, and we made an appointment. It was what I thought was going to be my over $1 million sale. So I was pretty excited about this, and we talked about a pre-qualification letter, a pre-approval letter. You know, pre-approval is much better, everyone, than a pre-qualification letter. I said that wrong. Yeah, I did. I said it right. Pre-approval is better than pre-qualification, okay? So the couple, older, mature, gray, very distinguished looking couple. Valarie, we're going to pay cash for our house. We just moved from New York. Um, we can get a letter from the bank. I said, okay. And they asked to see the house. Now I was new and I wanted to see $1 million house anyway. So I talked to my broker in charge. She said, take a chance and call that a tour if it doesn't work out, because I didn't have any proof. And back then, we didn't check ID. We didn't do anything, but I went by instinct and I felt very comfortable with them. So we went into the house, and every room in the house that we went into, they said a prayer. They got on their knees. And it was not like, God, just help us, please get this room or this house. Thank you. I'm so grateful. It was like a very animated, like as if music was playing and they started speaking in tongues in the rooms. And they did it from room to room. We got out of the house. By the fourth room, though, I said, okay, can't do it anymore. And so they asked, could they come back? And I said, I don't know. It depends on whether or not you have your funding letter. I got in my car. They got in their car, and we went back to the office. And I was stunned, eyes really, really big. And they called the next day, and they asked me, could they see that house along with maybe, excuse me 1 minute. Y'all just hold on 1 minute. My allergies are really, really strong here. Just hold on 1 minute. I don't know how to put this on hold. Just hold on. Oh, I did it. I did it. I hope you guys are still here. I hope you guys are still here. They called the house, the office the next day, and they asked for me. And they asked, could we go back and see the house along with 5 others? I said, do you have your funding letter? And they said, not yet. God is going to bring it. So I said, well, when God brings you that funding letter, I'm going to wait on God to tell me whether or not I should take you out. We're respecting God both ways, aren't we? And they were really surprised. I just thought that was different. I just wanted to share that last one with you, just to get your take on it. If you have something about it, put something in the chat. I am going to end this today. And if you guys anybody wants to join the membership, just click on the link and grow. As well as next week, we're going to give you a webinar day. That webinar is going to be free. And it's going to, it's dedicated to new realtors that want to rebuild, realtors that want to build, realtors recovering from burnout, realtors that's building a team or getting an assistant. I need for you all to come to that webinar. And I would also like for you to subscribe to my YouTube. This is really, really new, guys. I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm getting in the groove of it. So subscribe to my email. We're trying to get our numbers up, okay? I thank you for being here, and make it a good one.